Nobel Son is definitely a creative film at times, but ultimately I feel like it's a waste of a brilliant cast because I just didn't care for this. Obviously, if people enjoy it, that's fantastic, but for me, all I really enjoyed was the cast itself. This was released in 2007. It's directed by Randall Miller and it's written by Miller and Jodie Sevin, and we have a cast including Alan Rickman, Mary Steenburgen, Danny DeVito, Ted Danson. Obviously, fabulous cast, and it sounded interesting. The premise did sound good. It's about a professor who wins the Nobel Prize, and somebody claiming to be his illegitimate son kidnaps the professor's actual son and demands money, and that's ostensibly what it's about. And on paper, it sounded interesting. It sounded like a narrative that could really work. I thought, yeah, this sounds quite fascinating, and I just found it to be tremendously boring. And I think for me, there were two reasons for that. One, I just found the narrative to be kind of dull. I didn't like the execution. I didn't like the direction it took. Nothing about it was specifically bad. I just didn't think it was interesting. But I also didn't think the characters were that interesting. I didn't really care for any of them. And again, they're not necessarily badly written, and it's not that I don't believe their actions or anything. It's just simply that I found them to be really dull. So for me, there just wasn't anything about this that worked well. There was nothing that was interesting. So for me, it was a bland film. And I keep saying for me, because I feel like there might be an audience for it. The creative aspect, they tried to inject some comedy in there and definitely some creative bits with the editing and things. And that might appeal to some people. And it's not so much that that doesn't appeal to me. It's more so that I just didn't find it engaging. So unfortunately, as much as on paper, Nobel Son sounded like it really could have worked for me, the execution was just dire, and I found the characters to be not bad, but certainly not interesting. All of that being said, yes, I did enjoy watching the performances because, as I said, we have a fantastic cast. It's because of Ted Danson that I became aware of this, but chances are I would have come across it because of somebody else at some point anyway, so absolutely no problems there. However, I didn't think Nobel Son was very good. If you're curious, then I'd say check it out. You might enjoy certain bits of it more than I did. I still don't think the narrative is that great, even with that in mind, but the cast is phenomenal. So I guess we can't have everything, not all of the time anyway. Do I recommend it? Only if there's a specific reason why you want to watch it. If you decide not to watch it, I don't think you'll be missing out on too much. But the cast is great, so maybe it's worth watching once, but ultimately for me, Nobel Son just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.